our next, my colleague and friend and our president. So he's to be presidential with everything that means. But Thomas Larsen Schmidt is a consultant for the Danish Sports Federation, which has 6,300 associations affiliated. And he's working for 1.5 million Danes to try to get them into outdoor life, given also his commitment to mountain biking over many years. So Thomas, give us a flavor of the IMBA strategy.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin, for those kind words. But I would like to send a small greeting to Peter and just mention that I am also a mountain biker. So now there's two of us, at least on this summit. My name is, like you said, Thomas Larsen Schmidt. I'm president of IMBA Europe, and I'm really proud to be here today. I think we have great panels and we have great people on board to talk about many of the different societal challenges and great trails can help out with. I would like to talk today about our new strategy. I'll try to keep it short. People who know me will know that this is today's big challenge for me. We used to have great strategies, but with this new that we talked to our members about in December and they approved, is actually taking some of the good stuff we've been working with for so many years and then saying, okay, we do all the advocacy, we talk about sustainable trails, we will try to live so they can work advocacy and they can get to have better lives through exercise and so on. Do we actually say this in our strategy? So what we do is all the good stuff out of the good we do in IMBA Europe, that into strategies. It's more clear that we want to be part of the solution. We want what we attempt to try to help out with some of challenges. So IMBA Europe create and coordinate sustainable trails. And we are the only organization to address these opportunities at the EU. We also want to be top with organizations, government bodies, industry, environmental organizations, and we want to be a driving force behind European in the field of training and education, for working with an Erasmus project called Builder Education. We are part of this better progress connection with parks and outdoors. We want to be at the forefront of information of mountain bike related themes. So we're working to become IMBA's mission strategy. Our vision is quite to get more people on through sustainable mountain biking. And the mission towards that, we actually want to improve people's with better health. We want to climate more easy access to sustainable mountain bike and shared use trails, to home rides, to iconic backcountry experience. We want to make Europe a mountain bike friendly place. And we also want to grow the diversity of cycling, the quality. So with that said, and time running, I will be true to my pledge at the beginning. I will keep this brief and I will respect the time that was given to me here. And I will give the word back to Kevin Main. And I would like to say thank you for this opportunity to be in such participants listening in. So thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. and putting that together with Peter is really interesting. And I mean, there'll be the odd question from the audience, I'm sure, specifically. And one of the specific questions was, Peter, can we have all your links? Which, of course, Lauren in the back office has said already we'll share those, because there's always an enthusiasm when there might be some money on the table. So then, plus I'm sure. I think it's true. What you have in common is you're talking about sport in terms of outcome. Sport does some impacts, but and positive impacts. Is that we're hearing that the sports is kind of not enough, that we have of outcomes? Peter, you're a policy guy. Do sports need to stand up about their outcomes?
Say of sport an important economic factor inside the EU. Sport has a great famous athlete, especially discover the beauty of being allowed and able to be outdoors, and perhaps also in the area of mountain biking has actually led to some excesses in some areas. I've seen some trails and forests which were pretty out of shape. But I think it's a recognition of those different factors that contribute to this. And economic dimension is one, but the cultural and environmentally friendly sport is that should also, which is an important side. This should, and nations out if they will be endorsed, perhaps by some kind of council conclusions. Although this is not boost ability, so let's say additional credentials to the sport movement, and ideally we will get to the expert group, a good practice followed by many people involved in the sport sector.
Thank you.
It's important that organization of the framework. So we try together with national organization framework, local, regional groups, municipalities, and so on, tools to use the framework, have to making more trails close to home, so the more people towards the trail far away. So I think it's on that response to build that and gives that opportunity for local communities to be more and more aligned and have better opportunities to work with to solve issues, problems, or whatever, to use the trail as a tool towards nature conservancy. Guides people, they won't ride in another area where it's very delicate natural environment. So making that framework is super important for the national organizations and for IMBA Europe on that responsibility. So it's done.
Thomas, we a moment to do through, and I just going back to this. You have the kind of uniquely opportunity at a European level. Bike's incredibly low, and yet we're talking about the Europe high-level body. IMBA Europe is a kind of very kind of high stuff. Peter says on. Is it right that we have this kind of European dimension over the top of Thomas first, and I'll get Peter to finish up with saying, well, what's the unique European added value here?
Well, I think it's I think it's super important to have all the knowledge that grows and are being taken in the national organizations together to be to the EU, to IMBA US, and having that bigger perspective and bringing those people together to share knowledge, to give to each other, and to lift the level of competencies and knowledge. It's super important, and tap into the right cooperations with the right, like in the Sea Project, work together with Europark, work together with ENOS and other organizations that also operate on a European level. We share knowledge, we get to know each other, and we start to make common solutions. This is just, we can't live without it. We just need a little bit more money, I guess.
Peter.
Yes, I mean, I hear the question and I understand where you're coming from, but I really don't see actually, it's not, for me, it's not two different parts, the local level and the EU level. I mean, we have to work together, and the idea is to reach a maximum of people with, you know, with important knowledge and expertise that is out there and can and needs to be shared furthermore. What I would like to say is that we also invited, or I reached out to the UN Climate Action Secretariat. They were active in the field of climate action for sports framework. So it's important to bring in the key players so that we can build on existing work and then see how it can be relevant and translate it into action at local level. And maybe a final word is we have a number of European federations present who will then share the information at national level, and then it's a question how the federations will share that down to the local level. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
I acknowledge for grassroots it might be a bit trickier, but yeah, we'll look into that as well.
And thanks both, I mean, for referencing that it's UN and others, and we, you know, there's a large proportion of non-EU Europe and friends and colleagues in IMBA on this call. That's great. I think in concluding that, Peter, I think you'll say you'll hear from us. We've got one of our most large and vigorous member communities in France, and we've got the biggest bicycle retailer in the world that happens to be a French company coming up later on. So if the French presidency is the target, I have little doubt they will hear from us or from our communities in the coming 2 years for this program. So to you both, thank you. Virtual applause, I'm sure, from the floor, and thanks for your contribution to kicking off today's session so positively.